It's almost the time of year when MBA decisions finally come out. All the blood, sweat, and tears you put into your test score, into your application, into your interviews, and now into this long, anxiety-provoking wait is about to finally bear fruit. I am so excited for the good news that I really hope is coming your way from the schools that you applied to. But I also know that the majority of applicants at the majority of schools are going to get bad news. That's just how this process works. The acceptance rate at Stanford is about 6%. At Harvard, it's about 10. At Wharton, it's somewhere in the ballpark of 20. Most people who apply are going to be rejected. So today, I'm gonna help you understand 3 big reasons why you might have gotten rejected from business school. I'm Angela Guido, your MBA guardian angel. I am here to usher you along the journey towards your MBA and towards the career of your dreams. I'm so happy you're here. By the way, if you haven't already joined our community and started playing our email game that breaks down the MBA journey into bite-sized steps that you can take a little bit every week, please go do that right now. You can scroll down to the description and just click that little button that says careerprotocol.com/join. And then I'll be in your inbox every week, helping you progress along the road towards MBA greatness. Before I get into the 3 big reasons that you might have gotten rejected from business school, I just want to let you know, rejection sucks. And boy, do I know it. When I applied to business school, I got 4 rejections from really great programs. And even though I was really happy with the school I ended up at, each one of those rejections was a unique kind of pain. I don't consider myself someone who deals with rejection terribly well. So if you are sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, feeling angry, feeling like the world is about to end, I don't blame you. My sincere hope, however, is that the information I'm going to share with you today is going to allow you to forgive the school and yourself for the outcome you're dealing with and move forward into the future with confidence that you can indeed still get what you want from the MBA journey. Even if this school didn't work out, even if all of the schools you applied to didn't work out, there's still a way forward. All right, so let's talk about the 3 biggest reasons why you might not have gotten in to the school of your dreams. The first reason is the least popular and really in some ways the most painful to have to be brutally honest about, and that is, you guessed it, your test score. So, in many other videos, I have yammered on and on and on about how the test scores work in the universe of MBA admissions, but let me just recap it really simply for you right here. Schools have to care about your test scores for 2 big reasons. Number 1, they need evidence that you can handle the work of their program. And even though the GMAT and the GRE are not great proxies for what happens in an MBA classroom, they're a recent statistic that examines your ability to think clearly, use the English language, and solve math problems. And for that reason, it's a decently good proxy for your intellectual capacity and your ability to do well in MBA programs. The second aspect of your test score, and this is frequently the one that is playing a much bigger role when it comes to rejection, is the fact that schools have to protect their average test score so that their rankings don't slip. I've talked a lot about this in other videos. It's a pretty complicated situation. But the bottom line is, even if everything in your profile is strong, even if your test score is solid, maybe it's an 85th or a 90th percentile score, it proves to the school that you're smart enough, or maybe it's below the average, but it's still decent and you have a lot of other statistics that show that you're clearly smart enough to do the work of the MBA program. Schools may still have to reject you just purely based on that test score because they can't allow their average to slip. The second big reason that might explain a rejection from an MBA program is your resume. Now, the resume is significantly less straightforward than the test score. With the test score, you just go, you look at your score, you look at the average of the school. That gives you a lot of information right there. The resume, on the other hand, is both a document and a representation of your work experience to date, and both of those are significant factors in the admissions committee's decision. So if we look at this from the perspective of your experience, you need to have enough experience that you're going to be able to contribute in the classroom and really learn in a meaningful way from the subject matter that's being taught. So if you don't have enough years of substantial work experience, that could be one reason why you're not yet ready for an MBA, and schools would reject you, not because they don't like you, but because they think you just need to mature a little bit. You're too green, you need to get a little bit more work experience and then try again. On the flip side of that equation is if you have too much experience to be able to benefit from the MBA program that you're applying to. They don't want people sitting in class bored, unable to learn from their classmates, and this is why the average age of most top MBA programs students is in the realm of 4 to 6 years of work experience. It's not because they care about your chronological age, it's because you need a certain amount of experience to be able to benefit from the program, and if you're way beyond that, then you're just too smart. You know more than the professors will know. There'll be no point of you sitting in that, especially full-time MBA classrooms. So the first thing to really look at is your work experience, and look at it in terms of duration of time, so number of years. Look at it in terms of promotions. Have you been growing? Have you been getting more responsibility? And then look at it in terms of the substance of the work you've been doing. Have you really gotten your hands dirty enough in the soil of business or whatever field you're in to be able to really benefit from and contribute to an MBA classroom? And this could include things like the brand names that are on your resume, the progression that you've had, whether everything you've done fits together or if it seems like you've been making random leaps. There are a lot of components that go into your work experience that is a substantial part of what schools are evaluating. And the primary way they're evaluating that is through your resume. So now we're getting into heartbreak territory. For most people, their GMAT score is the best that they can do, and you kind of just got to live with whatever score you've got. Likewise, your work experience is, in most cases, what it is. You've done some great things. You probably wasted a little bit of time too. You've got the substance of the experience that you've got. Where I see so many candidates ruining their chances is by failing to translate the richness and depth and impact of their work experience into the resume. I don't even know how many videos I've made about this, but still people fail to really manage to pack the value of their work experience into their resume. We talk to lots of candidates who failed to get into their target schools in what we call our MBA do-over call. If you're curious about what's involved in that service, I'll put the link in the comments down below. But one of the things we frequently see is that people have left many, many points on the table in their resume because they have a task-based resume, a responsibility-based resume, or a very narrowly industry-focused resume that doesn't translate to the generalist world of the MBA and what admissions committees are looking to see on the resume. So your work experience is what it is, and you definitely want to evaluate that as you're looking to understand why you might have been rejected, but also pay attention to the resume document itself. Did you manage to really translate all that you've achieved in your career onto that one page? If you got rejected, there's a good chance the answer to that question is no. And so then you're gonna really wanna work to improve the document of your resume in any kind of forward-looking reapplicant strategy. By the way, if that's your situation, we have a toolkit for this. You can just scroll down into the description below and check out our MBA resume toolkit. This has all of the advice, templates, frameworks that you need to translate all of your amazing work experience into an amazing MBA resume. And now we've fully entered heartbreak territory, because the last reason that you might have been rejected from your target schools is because of your story. It's because of the way you showed yourself, your character, who you are, to admissions committees in your essays and in your interview. Those two things really work together to show a complete picture of who you are as a human being. The biggest thing we see in our MBA do-over calls are MBA essays that left the majority of points on the table because the candidate really failed to translate who they are into the 800, 900, 250 words of the essay or essays that the school gave them the opportunity to submit. This is the biggest heartbreaker because that aspect of your application was entirely in your control. And if you left points on the table, there's a good chance that it's because you followed the wrong advice. I know that you're smart. I know that you're dedicated. I know that you did a lot of research. I know that you asked people, you looked at the internet, you might have even worked with a consultant, you might have engaged ChatGPT to help you write your MBA essays. So I know you tried, and I know that with the information you had, you did the best that you could do. But what we mostly see when we look at the essays that failed to get in to great schools is people who were trying to paint a deliberately engineered picture of who they are rather than showing their authentic self. And this is critically important because schools at the top will always be rejecting more applicants that are qualified to get into their school than they accept. So if Harvard is admitting 1,000 students, they're rejecting more than 1,000 students who would have been equally qualified to be in the classroom. The difference is admissions committees choose the candidates that they like and want in their program. Not just the ones that are good enough, not just the ones that have the right statistics and the right experience, but also the ones that they genuinely want to have in their program. That is an emotional decision. When you present an authentic picture of who you are, and the word authentic has been used so much that it may not translate anymore. That means a picture of yourself that shows how inspiring you are, but also the aspects of you that are imperfect and vulnerable. It's a complete picture of who you are as a person, both the shadow and the light. And when you do that, you're immediately and instantly likable. You're lovable just as you are. That's what you really need to be doing in your application essays, especially to top MBA programs. As human beings, we are all struggling on the road to enlightenment in one sense. We're all trying to be better, kinder, more contributive versions of ourselves. Wherever you are on that journey is perfectly fine. Schools just want to know, where are you and how are you traveling that road? What is laid out in front of you as you seek to become the best version of yourself? That's really what you need to be showing schools in your essays. That is not easy to do. It's also not necessarily easy to know when you've done it. So if you got some really bad news from a school that you were really passionate about, and you think that quite possibly reason number 3 is the reason that you didn't get into your favorite school, really consider signing up for one of our MBA do-over calls, because this aspect of whether or not you really showed an authentic picture of yourself in your essays, it's very hard to assess that by yourself. Frequently, you actually need a second opinion. You need someone who can look at you objectively and look at the profile objectively and say, something doesn't seem right about this. It seems too perfect. It seems too polished. It's easy to lose perspective inside your own head. This is why in life we need coaches, we need therapists, we need advisors, because we can't do everything inside of our own mind. One or more of these 3 big reasons might be why you didn't get into the school of your choice. There are lots of other little things that come into play, and your case could indeed be very unique. It might be an entirely different reason than the ones I've laid out. But if you need a place to start to understand what happened and move forward, start with these 3 big reasons. Be honest with yourself, but also be kind. You did your best. You did so much better than the people who didn't try. You tried and failed. And that is already one huge step closer to success than most people ever take. So be proud of the effort that you put in. Take good care of yourself this holiday season, and come back next week for MBA Monday to learn how to keep moving forward on your MBA journey. Goodness. Who made this cappuccino? What idiot barista did this? Okay. Hello and welcome back to MBA Monday. I'm going to do the introduction later.